This river doesn't actually connect. Global warming, even though obviously that's not modeled in this game. I'm gonna claim that's what it is.
Maybe they're just connected by a small river which isn't visible on the map.
No, unfortunately I think that that's probably wrong, and there's a noticeable hill.
Oh, I know what it is! It's a reservoir, and there's an underground tunnel which is used for power generation.
If it weren't for the fact that all water is at the exact same level in this game, I would agree. However, it's more fun to ignore the reality of the game physics and suppose such. Such as, also, the Kerbals must be an underground species because the only buildings on the entire planet are the surface structures for launching rockets and planes. So clearly their whole society lives underground. Also, there must be, oh, hey look! There's a little bit of water there. Their society also must have either there are more crews using the same launch facilities as you that you never see, or there are hidden or secret launch facilities that are launching Kerbals as well, because in the career mode, you get missions to rescue Kerbals that you never sent. So clearly, something's going on besides what the player is up to.
Huh.
Also spiky. I'm feeling slightly dumb because I'm realizing how much extra flight time you can give yourself by using a lower throttle than full throttle right now. Because normally with this plane, you would go full throttle and up as high as you can, because if you don't, you're using up orders of magnitude more fuel down here than at cruise. But because I have the throttle very low, I'm still using double the fuel that I would be at cruise, and obviously I'm going about 1/10 of the speed, but I have more loiter time. And I'm feeling slightly dumb about it because it's like, I knew that was a thing, but somehow I still, like, kind of forgot that that's a thing.
That's fine.
I wish I had more excuses to take advantage of loiter time in KSP, because honestly, I would love to make a plane that, like, I just fly around at lower speed, lower altitude, just to hang around an area for a while. Like, if there's something interesting, some reason to hold you there.
Yeah, but like you just said, there's no cities.
Yeah.
There's no surface features at all, really, apart from the little Easter egg points of interest you can find.
Yeah. And the, I guess this kind of falls under Easter egg, but not as much. The radar installations. Since they did add since they added that, the actual points that you will see connecting on the map are actual installations you can go to. I believe you said you hadn't played in quite a very long time, so that was after you stopped playing,
Yeah.
I assume?
Yeah. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, so for example, the big crater, the giant crater, wherever it is, I can't remember. Oh, here, wait, nope, that's not it. There it is, that I've landed on the center of. Actually, you can see it on the map right here. See that point at the top of that hill is actually a radar tower. See, I forgot where in this whole ring from the crater the communication tower was. And so I flew to the center because I couldn't remember where it was. Let's see. I think I will land on the isthmus. Fuck.
Isthmus.
Yeah. Because you can see it's not too much further ahead.
Isthmus.
Isthmus. Christmas on the Isthmus. I feel like there should be a parody of a Christmas song that's like Merry Isthmus. Right?
Actually, the thing that immediately came to mind when you said that was Jonathan Colton's song.
Jonathan who? I literally just like momentarily zoomed in on the throttle control and then just started spamming Z and X to go max min, max min. I guess technically this isn't the most realistic F-104 because what do they call it? Like, okay, I know there's the coffin corner, but like the area of death all around that, like, what is it, the coffin wedge? You know what I mean, though.
I mean, I know what you mean. The coffin corner is the bit where you stay alive, because you're surrounded by a coffin corner. The edge of the envelope.
I was gonna say, this one, the envelope is a bit more forgiving than the real thing. Quite a bit, in fact, I'd say, because, like, right now, I'm flying at... Here, like, let me just cut the engines and see how slow we can go. I'm gonna go ahead and pitch us to, basically...
Yeah, because this has a long history of working out just fine.
What's the minimum speed of an F-104 in meters per second?
I can look it up if you want.
Please do. I'm gonna see if you can look it up before I go below it.
Let's have a look at Wikipedia, because Wikipedia knows everything. Flying characteristics. Normal operating hazards. Ah, there's the flight envelope. Oh my god, I've never actually looked at this. This is horrifying.
I'm slowly freaking out more and more as you don't tell me the answer, because I'm falling. Okay, I'm full throttling it now, because if I don't, I will die. Okay, I actually maintained reasonable... I actually got up to a reasonable speed pretty quickly from that.
There you go, see, that's fine.
Did you see how low I got, though?
Looked like about 30-something meters per second.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is 108 kilometers per hour. So actually that's not that slow in the grand scheme of things. It's quite slow for KSP, though.
I mean, anyway, the reason I was just being like, oh my god, I've never seen this, is I was just looking at the stall line performance based on various altitudes, and just like how abrupt it gets.
I haven't looked at it in a while, but I know it's pretty gnarly.
I just caught sight of just a little fragment of sentence as I was scrolling, which was catastrophic tail flutter.
Yeah, because if your angle of attack gets too high, the wing will just cover your vertical stabilizer, and you just nope. KSP doesn't model this, else I would be dead already, multiple times in fact.
Early F-104s also lacked modulating afterburning, and as a result, combat operations could only be performed on only two settings, either maximum military power or full afterburner. Effectively, this gave the pilot the choice of two level flight speeds, Mach 1 or Mach 2.2.
That's great. I love it. I love it so much. I love it. I remember I was reading a comment someone posted on someone else's replica recently, where they're saying they love this plane because it looks so futuristic. I just love that idea.
It kind of does. They even called it the Starfighter.
I know. I love that so much. Such a brilliant name for such a brilliant plane that wants to die. Or, well, let me... Actually, no, it doesn't want to die. It doesn't want to go slow. It only wants speed. Nothing but speed. You give it anything less than speed and it gets angry with you. Oops. I overcorrected. It was two separate overcorrections. Not me repeating myself.
That's a pretty decent landing.
Yeah?
Oh, this is amazing. The Starfighter was marketed by Lockheed as the missile with a man in it.
Accurate.
The press dubbed the F-104 the Widowmaker due to its high accident rate.
They're actually, so the interesting thing to me is that there are multiple planes that have that designation. There's one that, if I remember correctly, has that designation officially, and then the others, it's just they were given that nickname for the same reason.
Do you actually want to know what the minimum speed was?
Yes, please.
90 knots,
What's 90
which is
knots?
167 kilometers an hour.
167, and I went down to about 33, which is 118.8. So, yeah, mine's definitely a lot more flyable. Well, that said, okay, let me rephrase that, because, yeah, I did go to that low of a speed, but it certainly wasn't flyable at that speed.
It wasn't really flying so much as falling with style.
Yes, which is appropriate, really. The other plane off the top of my head that, when I googled a Widowmaker aircraft, was a B-26 Marauder, which obviously is called the Marauder, not the Widowmaker, but it has the exact same thing. Received the reputation of a Widowmaker due to the early model's high accident rate during takeoffs and landings.
You know the interesting thing I noticed about the F-104? Just sort of reading about it. It uses the J79 engine, which nowadays commonly is actually used for power generation.
Really? Interesting. Like, in what sorts of, like, where would it be used for power generation? Because I don't know how common turbojets are for power generation.
Pretty common and increasing, especially in the UK and Europe.
Really?
Yeah, because there's been a big push to get rid of coal power, just because it's so
coal power
polluting.
is... Yeah.
So a lot of that was replaced by natural gas burning
Turbojets.
gas turbines.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. That's
And
interesting.
General Electric made a an industrial version of the J79, which is virtually identical.
That is
And
so amazing.
to make a power station, you take a J79, convert it, which basically involves just the ancillaries and stuff like that.
What do you mean? Sorry?
The ancillaries.
I
Things like the alternator and how the pumps are run and stuff.
do not get what you mean. Like, how... Take it and do what? Like, how do you modify it for that?
Well, you get rid of them mostly because you don't need it.
Okay. Especially because I'm assuming you're
you don't need a hydraulic pump because you're on the ground running the power station. You don't need a hydraulic pump.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course, that makes sense. I didn't think about that, and for a moment I was going, what the fuck on an engine needs a hydraulic pump? And then I'm like, oh yeah, no, nothing on the engine needs it. The rest of the plane needs it.
Yep. So yeah, you convert the engine
Into a generator.
Just stick it into a turbine, connect the turbine to an alternator, and bing, you've got a multi-megawatt power station.
That's amazing. That's the other thing I was curious about, is like, I knew you could I knew you could like, I knew it was used for power generation, but I had no idea what kinds of, like, amounts you could get, you know, or how reasonable it is.
It's very, very reasonable. Especially the J79, because